right, let's see. What's it? 20 minutes after 11. Wow, the morning's just slipping by, isn't it?
Yeah.
So is time. 31 years is how old my son is. 31. 31. I remember when, before he was born. I remember those days. Oh my gosh. I'm sure you remember when you yourself were expecting the two children that you are the mom of, Robin.
Yep. I don't forget. I love them so much.
It is such an important part of our lives as human beings, having children, and we remember with great clarity the times when they were children, and I think maybe women remember the pregnancy more than fathers do. I remember it somewhat. I remember buying maternity clothes. Mm-hmm. That's what I remember buying. I remember driving home from the hospital, and I remember like never ever being so aware of traffic as I was that first day. Just praying to God that nobody was going to crash into me. It's just a natural thing. We want to protect ourselves and our children and our loved ones. Dr. Dawn Kingston is on the phone. She is the co-developer of Canada's first perinatal mental health screening guidelines and an associate professor at the University of Calgary. Listen to this topic. She's going to talk about tips for women, pregnant women, to stay healthy and to de-stress during catastrophic times. Wow, she's part of the Center for Perinatal Excellence. I'm guessing that's up in Calgary. Let's find out right now. Dr. Dawn Kingston. Good morning, doctor.
Good morning, Larry and Robin. Thank you for having me today.
You're welcome. Where are you right now?
I'm in Calgary, Alberta.
Is it snowing? Is it snowing there yet?
Do you know, yes, we have snow. It starts in October and it lasts until May.
Oh, my goodness. See, everybody says they come here to get away from it. I want to go there to see it. I want to just be part of that. So are you a mom?
I am. I have two adult boys in their 20s.
See that? And you remember the day you found out you were pregnant all the way till now. You haven't forgot one bit of that, have you?
No, that's absolutely true. And as I was thinking about your comments, Larry, introducing this topic, I was thinking, for many moms that have depression or anxiety when they're pregnant or after they have their baby, those are experiences that continue to be very vivid for them years later, 30, 40 years later.
Really? Like why I don't even know how to ask the question, but why would that be? Why would that last so long?
Most women, when they describe how this longevity of their experience, they would say it's because they feel that they've, not done the best for their children. They feel guilty about not remembering many details of their babies' lives, of their pregnancy. Some of them struggle with guilt over not wanting to be pregnant. They wanted it, but they feel so badly. They're so anxious. They feel so depressed that then they just regret getting pregnant in the first place. And so these sorts of things that do hit most women at some point feel very intense for a very long time.
Really? How oh gosh, this is a loaded question, I think. How important is it for us as husbands to be cognizant, to be aware of what you're saying, because we could be the part of the problem?
Or part of the solution, Larry. So if we think about the husband is often, or the partner is often the safety network for the woman. He's often the one that sees symptoms first, sees that she's not coping, sees that she's struggling more than usual. A woman may not even want to admit to her partner that she's struggling because the biggest reason is she doesn't know whether in pregnancy or after she's had the baby, whether what she's feeling is normal or not. It's the biggest barrier. But I think in terms of, I don't want to frame it in terms of a problem, Larry, but right. Actually what we do find is that if a woman speaks to her partner and he normalizes it, sort of makes it feel normal, oh, it's okay, you're just going through mood swings,
right,
then that actually prevents a woman from getting help or talking to her doctor. So that's a bit of a slippery slope.
Is this evident? Is this anxiety and depression evident in most women that are pregnant, or is it a small percentage? Because I don't remember having this at all.
Good question. Anxiety and depression are actually more common in pregnancy than postpartum. So that actually is changing our focus from postpartum depression to anxiety and depression across pregnancy to postpartum. But it affects about, in terms of depression, about 13 to 20% of women, and anxiety is a bit higher, 18 to 25%. So that's, and when you put it in those terms, it's actually the most common complication that we see in pregnancy or in the postpartum period.
And is this screened for by the physicians when you go in for your pregnancy exam?
This is the problem. At present, no. They do that in Australia. They do it in the United Kingdom. The U.S. just brought out a guideline about a year ago now recommending screening in pregnancy and postpartum for all women. But we haven't yet reached that point in Canada. Our guideline will sort of start to push things in that direction. But as of yet, it's not happening widespread. Might be happening in certain clinics or certain hospitals, but it's not a universal part of prenatal or postnatal care at this point. That's part of the issue.
And is there any kind of treatment that can be given to these women?
There is. The first thing that most women think about is antidepressants, and in reality, about 5 to 8% of women will need an antidepressant. But the vast majority of women that struggle with anxiety and depression can manage this outside of an antidepressant, either a talking therapy or even things like exercise, yoga, meditation, relaxation, having a friend, walking outside with a friend. Even those things can help women to manage their symptoms well.
Does the prognosis or the diagnosis for the first pregnancy indicate anything about the second pregnancy, or is each pregnancy different than the other?
Good question, Larry. Typically, if women have postpartum depression one pregnancy, we see it in another. But I think the other piece that's key here, what we're starting to show in our research, and research in Australia is showing this as well, that it's almost in some cases uninterrupted. So what we thought was recurrence of depression, pregnancy, and then the second pregnancy, in some cases it's a continuation. For 40% of women that have depression or anxiety in pregnancy, they still have those symptoms when they put their child on the school bus at age 4 or 5. So we are seeing this longevity, which makes it even more critical to be screening in pregnancy. The earlier, the better.
You talk about Mr. Rogers' Look for Helpers segment of his show and equate that with volunteers.
Oh, right. Are you thinking of in times of disaster?
Yes.
For sure. What we've discovered in our studies here in Calgary with our 2013 flood is that families that engage as volunteers seem to handle that tragedy better. They get their children involved, the family as a whole is involved, and that spirit of giving seems to really buffer the impact that the tragedy has on the family. It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. Very interesting.
Doctor, I want to be sure that any listener who has turned up the volume on the radio so they could hear you clearly, so they can look up more information. That's what we do as people. We say, oh, let me turn that up. This is something I want to hear. So do you have a website we can direct them to?
Most of our stuff is posted on LinkedIn. If we have different articles for women, etc., it is for LinkedIn. We can connect with me through the University of Calgary, and I do have sort of a professor page there as well. So happy to connect with people.
Okay, and is there anything about nutrition that affects all of this?
This is one of those, in terms of depression and anxiety and pregnancy, postpartum, it's still a burgeoning area. Mm-hmm. There's interest, there's just not a whole lot of evidence behind this. So this is still an unknown area a little bit.
Doctor, very interesting information. I hope that the little bit we were able to get out stimulates some listeners to check out the information. Dr. Dawn Kingston, we have made a video, a podcast of this, and it'll be up on the video channels, YouTube and Facebook by 2 o'clock today. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. We'll be right back.
Fox News Radio, I'm Chris Foster. Survivors of Sunday's massacre at a church in Sutherland Springs, Texas, say some people played dead to survive and that the killer shot babies who cried. 26 people died. The man who shot and wounded the gunman before he crashed his car and killed himself is Stephen Williford.
I'm no hero. I am not. And I just wish I could have gotten there faster.
He spoke to KHBS TV. People are voting for governor today in New Jersey and in Virginia, where the Republican candidate has President Trump's long-distance support on Twitter.
Ed Gillespie, a former chair of the Republican National Committee, is in a tight race with Democratic Lieutenant Governor Ralph Northam. The president tweeted from Seoul, South Korea this morning, saying Gillespie will, quote, turn around the high crime and poor economic performance of the state.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. Voters in Maine will decide whether to expand Medicaid coverage. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Men, if you're like me, you appreciate the feeling of a clean, smooth shave from a quality blade. The sort of shave that cuts clean without the burn. So why are you messing around with generic razors that cost $32 for an 8-pack when you can shave with Harry's high-quality German-engineered blades for half the price? And because Harry's is so confident in the quality of their blades, they'll send you their most popular set, complete with a razor, one of their world-famous blades, shaving cream, and post-shave balm for free if you cover shipping. A total value of $20 at no cost to you, with code 1170 at checkout. Their way of saying thank you for trying them. How is Harry's able to save you all this money and still give you the best shave you'll ever enjoy? By owning the factory that manufactures the blades. That's how. Go to harrys.com now and enter code 1170 at checkout to claim your free trial set and post-shave balm. That's harrys.com, code 1170.
Council. Here are today's headlines from The Source, WOCA. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement, along with the Marion County Sheriff's Office and the Bellevue Police Department, are reporting that a 19-year-old Bellevue woman was shot and killed yesterday morning. The woman is identified as Sarah Dixon. The report identifies the shooter as 20-year-old Frank Ralston Friday. Friday was involved in a vehicle accident off Baseline Road near Golf Park Estates and fled on foot. Law enforcement pursued Friday, who then shot himself. Friday is listed in critical condition. The report states that Bellevue police first responded to a report of a shooting at 8:30 a.m. yesterday at a duplex in the 5900 block of Front Street in Bellevue, where they found Dixon's body lying on the pavement. Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd is encouraging people to buy guns in the wake of the church massacre in Texas.
Carry a firearm safely. Use a firearm safely. Get your concealed firearm license and be prepared to protect your fellow person. A good person with a gun is not a danger to society.
In a tweet following the mass shooting, Judd says the only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun, and his office offers active shooter training. Judd says he's only talking about people who are not criminals and can legally arm themselves. The Florida Alliance for Retired Americans is asking for legislature to investigate Governor Rick Scott.
Dave Jacobson with the Alliance says they want to know why Governor Rick Scott did not respond to calls for help from a nursing home where 14 people died after Hurricane Irma knocked out the air conditioning.
Governor Scott's failure to respond to desperate calls for help and the subsequent deletion of voice messages only begs more questions. 12,000 Floridians are demanding answers.
Those 12,000 names he mentioned are on a petition submitted to the House Speaker and the Senate President calling for an investigation. Rick Flagg, Tallahassee.
A powerful senator is taken off the chairman's post of a major committee as the result of a sexual harassment scandal. Jack Latvala is under investigation by the Senate after 6 women claimed he groped them and made lewd comments. Longtime lobbyist Barbara Devane says it's part of the Tallahassee culture, and most of the women who work with the legislature have been harassed.
People don't mess with me too much, especially now that I'm 75. I don't have to go through that. But when I was a young lobbyist, I was approached by a representative and I told him in no uncertain terms that I do not lobby horizontally.
Even today, Devane says young women in short skirts are often in the front rows of committee hearings to close the deal on critical legislation. $180 million. That's the bottom line on tax cuts in the governor's upcoming budget, and Governor Rick Scott says Florida can afford it.
These tax reductions are important. We have the money. We have a projected $3 billion of projected revenues over recurring expenses, so we need to continue year after year after year reducing taxes.
To reach that $180 million goal, Scott is asking state lawmakers to reduce the fees on driver's licenses. The governor also wants 4 sales tax holidays next year, 3 for hurricane supplies and 1 for back-to-school shopping. Veterans Day is this Friday, and to honor active and retired members of the military, the Kennedy Space Center Visitors Complex is offering free admission to all veterans. Active duty, retired, and reserve members of the United States military can get complimentary admission to the Kennedy Space Center this coming Friday through Sunday. In addition, they can save 50% off admission for up to 3 guests in their party. There's more information on the Kennedy Space Center Visitors Complex website. And those are the headlines from The Source, WOCA 96.3 FM and 1370 AM.
You know how frogs are so hoppy? It's because they don't smoke or have COPD, otherwise they would be flip-floppy. If you want to quit smoking to prevent yourself from croaking, come to A Better You for a good acupuncture poking. Call me, Dr. Erica Olstein, with A Better You Healthcare to stop smoking today at 352-615-5566. 352-615-5566.
Join us at the 36th Annual Downtown Festival and Art Show, November 11th and 12th in beautiful downtown Gainesville for a weekend full of art, music, and culture. Explore a stunning collection of artwork by 240 artists and marvel at world-class paintings, vivid photography, unique sculpture, dazzling jewelry, and so much more. Enjoy continuous entertainment on 4 stages all weekend, including a downtown blues concert on Friday night. And bring the kids for free art activities at the Children's Imagination Station. For more information, call 352-334-ARTS or visit GainesvilleDowntownArtFest.org.
What is a cold frame and why they are so needed in our gardens? That's coming up on This Land of Ours.
If you are experiencing high bicarbonates in your citrus groves, Ed Lowndes with the Cindo Curly Crop Vitality Group says they have a product for you.
Biosalt is an excellent product for bicarbonate control in your citrus grove. It is a 12-00-26% water-soluble sulfur. Our products are water clear, neutral in pH, and can be applied at 12 to 14 gallons per acre through your microjets.
To learn more, contact your local fertilizer dealer or go to cropvitality.com.
I'm Agriculture Commissioner Adam Putnam. Florida's unique landscape includes more than 26 million acres of wild lands. These lands are constantly threatened by arsonists. Woods arson is a serious crime, and when arsonists set these lands ablaze, we all lose. It endangers wildlife, property, and can even lead to death. We need your help to report and stop arsonists in their tracks. If you see suspicious activity, call the arson hotline at 1-800-342-5869. Together, we can protect our state.
Cold frames are bottomless boxes with walls made of brick, straw bales, or wood, and a clear top. The bottom of the cold frame is actually a garden bed. The solid walls protect what's inside from cold wind and help trap heat inside the frame. The clear top is usually angled towards the equator. This will allow more sun in, providing the light plants need while preventing the frosts that often kill them, while also providing enough heat to stop the soil from freezing. Cold frames are necessary because they extend the growing seasons in the springtime and also autumn. They will also help protect our plants and seeds from extreme weather so that plants can continue to grow, thrive, and be readily available all year long. Now, not all vegetables will do well in cold frames, but there are some that will, including cabbage, broccoli, onions, garlic, carrots, beets, radishes, lettuces, and collards. I'm Kathy Isom, Southeast AgNet.
Will this be the year you finally get to enjoy Christmas at home? Let the Personal Service Center help you with your presents and goodies. They can gift wrap them, box them up, and ship them out, leaving you more time to enjoy the real meaning of the season. Personal Service Center, corner of Northeast 25th Avenue and 24th Street. 352-789-6683. Look for the yellow signs.
Join us at the 36th Annual Downtown Festival and Art Show, November 11th and 12th in beautiful downtown Gainesville for a weekend full of art, music, and culture. Explore a stunning collection of artwork by 240 artists and marvel at world-class paintings, vivid photography, unique sculpture, dazzling jewelry, and so much more. Enjoy continuous entertainment on 4 stages all weekend, including a downtown blues concert on Friday night. And bring the kids for free art activities at the Children's Imagination Station. For more information, call 352-334-ARTS or visit GainesvilleDowntownArtFest.org.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.